Anyone else up for more Steelers receiver trade rumors? Or more specifically, Steelers star wide receiver trade rumors? Because ever since the season started, it feels like something's been missing from like Steelers day-to-day conversations, huh? Because we spent the whole offseason, pretty much 3-4 months, talking about trading for receiver, thinking that Brandon Ayuk was going to be here. And all of a sudden, Ayuk decides to say, hey, screw you, Steelers. I'm staying with the 49ers. And then we just stopped talking about it. And I think it helps that we're 3-1. We've been winning games with the receivers that we have. But I feel like it's been a little empty, you know? Like, I feel like something's been missing. Like, where's the talk about getting a star wide receiver across from Pickens? We spent so much of the offseason doing that all of a sudden, like, we're cut off. We're not doing that anymore. But now we're back. We're back because Davante Adams has officially requested a trade from the Las Vegas Raiders. And how did this happen? And we all know about Davante Adams too. Top 5 receiver right now. Franchise guy, dude that could stand on his own. Doesn't need like a compliment or anything. Like, he's a stud. All pro dude. Borderline Hall of Fame guy. Like, if you look over the last, pretty much ever since AB's been out of the league, you can argue that Davante Adams has been the best receiver just based off the numbers. He hasn't done that much winning, like gone on serious deep playoff runs, but regular season numbers are pretty insane. I think he's first in receiving yards since 2018. It's second in touchdowns, first in reception. It's something crazy like that. He's in the top 2 in like the three or four big categories for receivers since 2018. So we know who Davante Adams is. If you're looking for a receiver, Davante Adams is a good guy to go after. But how did this trade come about? So Ian Rappaport said in his NFL Network report yesterday that Davante actually requested the trade on Monday. So I guess it all depends on how you want to believe that or who you want to believe in this, because the first reports were hinting that Davante Adams wanted out, or the trade request was prompted because Antonio Pierce liked a tweet that said this could be like, what are the chances that this is Davante Adams' last snaps as a Raider? Or like, he already played his last snap in a Raiders uniform because he was hurt last week. He was out. So they were saying basically, has he already played his last snap as a Raider? Is he going to stay injured and then they're potentially going to trade him? Antonio Pierce, the head coach, liked that tweet. So I guess it all depends on what angle you want to take on this. Did Davante Adams actually request the trade on Monday? Antonio Pierce heard about the request and liked that tweet because he figured, yeah, Davante's unhappy here and he's not going to be here anymore. We're going to trade him. We're not going to be dealing with this. So, yeah, I'm going to like this tweet. I'm kind of pissed off that he requested a trade, actually. Or has Pierce just not been a fan of how Adams has been handling his business this year? You know, the whole quote that he made after the week 3 game saying that some of his players made some business decisions. We got to make some business decisions. Was Davante Adams a part of that crew? Has he not really liked how Davante Adams has been this year? So he liked that tweet. He's already looking to get rid of Davante Adams. And then Davante Adams saw that Pierce liked the tweet and then requested the trade and said, you know what? Get me out of here. I don't know, but this is the type of stuff that's been going on over the last 24, 48 hours. Either way, Davante has asked to be out of Las Vegas. And I think where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, not only have you heard it from the man himself or he went through his agent, whatever. I mean, it's out there that Davante Adams wants out. I mean, there's some back and forth saying that Davante could still end up being a Raider, but I don't know. I think we're too far gone. Antonio Pierce in his press conference today didn't even answer anything related to Davante Adams. Like, it didn't give us anything. It was just like, he's in rehab right now. He's working through his hamstring. Didn't really give us any answers on him playing for the Raiders again. So I think it's over. I mean, I guess that's the thing. You're supposed to say that he could be back with the Raiders to help your trade leverage if these reports and rumors are coming out of the Raiders, from the Raiders side of things. But I think Davante Adams is out, man. You request a trade, you don't want to be there anymore. I think it's a pretty black or white thing, Obviously, with Brandon Ayuk, though, he requested a trade from the 49ers, and he ended up being back with the 49ers. So I guess at this point, as Steeler fans, nothing should surprise us. But we're back, man. We're back on the wide receiver trade talks, because if we were in on the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes, why wouldn't we be in on the Davante Adams sweepstakes? And based off reports, we are in. From afar, as fans, we could put 2 and 2 together. I think Steelers still need a receiver. Davante Adams, one of the best in the league. So, yeah, we should be making some calls. We should be interested. We were interested in a Brandon Ayuk. So why not Davante Adams? But we even got insiders saying today, Josina Anderson and also Diana Rossini, the Steelers are interested, and they're currently having calls with the Raiders and talking about some type of deal that could be done. Now, there's other teams in the mix for sure, but you love to see that from Omar Khan. You absolutely love to see it, because I think the offense is cruising right now. We're 3-1. Justin Fields been playing really good, but you can add Davante Adams, man, and at a decent price, because it doesn't seem the asking price is going to be anything crazy. He's up there in age. He's 31, so he'll be 32, 33 for the rest of his contract. But it looks like they're only asking for a second-round pick. Ayuk, the talks were a first and maybe something else. And if we were willing to do that, why wouldn't we be willing to do a second-round pick for Davante Adams, a guy that is flat out right better than Brandon Ayuk? We get Ayuk's more in his prime, has more upside for the long term, but Davante Adams is just flat out right better. And to be honest, he's aging like a fine wine right now. Would you be surprised if he was able to still be a top 10 caliber receiver in year 2 or year 3 if the Steelers would get him? Obviously, this year would be year 1, but next year and the following year, would he still be a top 10 receiver at age 32, age 33? I don't think any of us should be surprised by that. So if they're only asking for a second-round pick and maybe a player, maybe another late to mid-round pick in addition, why wouldn't we want to do that? The other teams that are in the mix, and this might be one of the things holding us up, and the thing that helped us in the Brandon Ayuk talks, where it was really only us and the Niners at the end of the day, because other teams were in the mix, but Brandon Ayuk didn't want to go there. There's a multitude of teams Davante Adams could want to go to and has been reported to wanting to go to. Like, Steelers, we're definitely in the mix. I think there's no reason why Davante Adams wouldn't want to be here. But you also got the Saints. His buddy Derek Carr is the quarterback there. Derek Carr was the reason why Davante Adams wanted to be a Raider in the first place. So I could see them making a push, being a legit contender. And then you got the Jets, obviously, too. Aaron Rodgers. You got basically Davante Adams, 2 quarterbacks. The Jets and the Saints looking for a receiver, would be interested in getting a Davante Adams, and Davante Adams would want to go there. So I guess it all depends on what the compensation is they're willing to give up and how serious of contenders they are. Because I think the Steelers, we're legit in it. We got the con artist, man. He leaves no stone unturned. But I don't know how the Saints GM is going to be operating in this, or the Jets GM. I know Cowboys have been thrown into the mix. I've been hearing a mixed bag on them. They might be in, they might not be in. Chiefs, but I don't see the Raiders making a trade to the Chiefs. I don't see that happening at all. And if anything, it seems like the Chiefs talks have cooled off throughout the course of today. Commanders, yeah, they could go all in with Jaden Daniels being on a rookie contract, but I haven't heard them being as much in the mix as the Steelers, the Jets, or the Saints. I say do it, man. I mean, why not? Why not? What's holding us back? I don't know what should be holding us back, because we could make the cap situation work, definitely, for this year and for the future. I know Davante Adams' cap hit is not good for year 2 and year 3 of this contract. It would actually, I guess it would be what, year 4, year 5 technically, but I'm saying year 2 or year 3 for his new team. This being year 1. It's like 40 something million, 40 plus million on the cap hits for both of those years, for each of those years. But there are outs where the dead cap, I think for next year, is like 13 million. So it's obviously not something that's completely favorable. You don't want to just be taking on $13 million of dead cap, but you could do a restructure if you really felt like you needed to cut him. It wasn't working out. 13 million dead cap ain't the worst thing in the world. A lot of teams have been dealing with worse dead cap. Broncos are clearly one of them, with them releasing Russell Wilson. And we're firsthand witnesses of that situation here, because Wilson is currently on the Steelers. So, we could manage $13 million in dead cap. Honestly, who knows? The salary cap next year might go up 13 million, and that would replace the dead cap just like that. But you could also restructure it. You could also extend the years on Adams' deal, give him some more guarantees up front. So there's ways to navigate it, but we could definitely afford him right now. And what have we known about the Steelers organization and how we talk about what a successful season is? It's Super Bowls, it's championships, it's deep playoff runs. And I think we're sick of the status quo and where the Steelers have been finishing these last, I mean, I could say 2-3 years, but we could honestly go back to 2017, because we don't have a playoff win in the last, 7 years? So you have Justin Fields on this rookie contract. You have Russell Wilson getting paid only $1 million, and he's on the roster too. You got 2 quarterbacks that are solid quality, and I think Justin Fields still should be the starter, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Either way, you're not paying much for your quarterbacks, and you feel like you got 2 guys that can lead this team no matter what. We still have cap space that we didn't spend from the offseason. We got restructures. We got ways to finagle this thing. If we want to talk about going all in, and with how we expect this defense to play for the rest of the season, I know we had the hiccup last week against the Colts, but dude, why not go all in? Why not? Make the move and then ask the questions later. But how about this? How about the kicker to all this? How about this little caveat? It's also being said that the Raiders aren't in a big rush to make a Davante Adams trade. Where have we heard that before? So wake me up, I guess, when this Davante Adams deal gets done one way or another, because this might be another Brandon Ayuk situation for Steeler fans here. And I don't want that. I mean, that was so nauseating. It was so nauseating talking about Ayuk. The good thing about this situation, though, is the trade deadline's a month away. So we can't be talking about it any more than what we were with Ayuk. Ayuk went for, 4 or 5 months? Ever since the offseason started, really. It was like February/March all the way up to August. It was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So it can't go past, I think it's November 5th. It's like early November, the trade deadline. But yeah, of course the Raiders aren't in a rush, right? Ridiculous.